This block of noodles took exactly 2 minutes to fry, and in that time, this factory produced another 14,000 packs. 100 million packs leave this building every single day, enough to feed the entire population of Germany 3 meals each. 12 production lines run in parallel around the clock, each one a self-contained noodle factory within the factory. Instant ramen is the most consumed manufactured food on Earth. 120 billion servings sold every year across every continent, from raw flour to sealed package in under 90 minutes. This is the fastest food transformation in industrial manufacturing, and it all begins with the simplest ingredient on Earth: wheat flour. The flour arrives pre-milled from dedicated suppliers, ground to specifications tighter than bread or pasta flour requires. Every morning, tanker trucks deliver 200 tons of wheat flour through pneumatic pipes, enough to fill 4 Olympic swimming pools. This isn't ordinary bread flour. Ramen factories use high-gluten wheat milled to a precise particle size that produces the signature chewy texture. Every flour delivery is lab-tested before it enters the system. Protein content must hit 11.5%, or the truckload is rejected. 6 storage silos hold a 3-day supply at full production. Any interruption would shut down 100 million packs of output. Automated valves meter flour to the gram. Each production line consumes exactly 800 kilograms per H-hour. Alongside flour, each line requires precise quantities of kansui salts, potato starch, and vegetable oil, all staged and pre-measured before production starts. The secret ingredient isn't a spice, it is kansui, an alkaline mineral water that gives ramen its yellow color and springy bite. Kansui contains sodium carbonate and potassium carbonate. These alkaline salts change the flour's protein structure at the molecular level. Now flour and kansui meet inside mixers the size of cement trucks. 600 kilograms of dough per batch. The mixers run for exactly 20 minutes at controlled speed. Undermixing leaves dry pockets, while overmixing destroys the gluten network. Technicians test gluten development by hand after every batch. The dough should stretch thin enough to see light through without tearing. The discharged dough looks nothing like finished noodles. It is a crumbly, rough mass that needs pressure and time to transform. At this stage, the gluten hasn't fully developed. That happens in the next machine, where 2,000 kilograms of force do the work. The compound roller stretches 20 meters long. Dough enters as a thick, rough slab and exits as a thin, elastic ribbon. Compound rollers press the dough through 6 successive stages, each pair of rollers squeezing the sheet thinner while developing the gluten structure. By the 6th pass, rough, crumbly dough has become a smooth, elastic sheet, just 1.2 millimeters thick. The rolling process aligns gluten proteins in parallel chains. This molecular alignment is what gives ramen noodles their signature snap when you bite through. A continuous sheet of dough now stretches the entire length of the production floor, and it is about to become noodles. Rotary slitters divide the sheet into noodle strands, 36 blades cutting in perfect unison at 12 meters per mim in ute. Each blade is spaced exactly 1.5 millimeters apart, the width that produces the ideal noodle-to-broth ratio in the finished bowl. These blades are sharpened every 8 hours and replaced every 72. Dull edges produce ragged noodles that break apart during cooking. The noodles develop their characteristic wavy pattern naturally, as faster conveyor belts compress strands against slower ones ahead. That signature wave isn't decorative. It creates pockets that trap broth and seasoning in every bite. Automated cutters portion the strands at exactly 25-centimeter intervals, the length engineered to fit standard bowls worldwide. Cut noodles enter a steam tunnel at 100 degrees for exactly 2 minutes, flash cooking that sets the starch and gelatinizes the surface. The steam treatment is why instant ramen cooks so fast at home. The noodles are already partially cooked inside the factory. Steaming creates a sealed outer shell that locks in moisture. When you add boiling water at home, it penetrates the porous interior in 3 minutes flat. After steaming, mechanical arms cut the noodle strands to length and fold each portion into individual metal molds, 500 blocks per minute per line. Every block weighs exactly 85 grams. Automated scales reject any mold that is off by more than 2 grams. The round mold shape isn't random. Circles pack more efficiently into square wrappers than rectangles, reducing material waste by 15%. Molds are inspected every shift and replaced after 50,000 uses. A worn mold produces uneven blocks that jam the wrapping machine. These molds shape every ramen pack you've ever opened, and they're heading into a bath of oil at 150 degrees. The fryer is the heart of the operation, a river of palm oil at 150 degrees that noodles pass through for exactly 2 minutes. The moment noodles hit the oil, water flash evaporates, creating thousands of microscopic air pockets that give instant ramen its porous texture. This porous structure is the engineering miracle behind instant ramen. Boiling water rushes into those air pockets and rehydrates the noodle in minutes. Golden brown blocks emerge from the fryer at exactly the right color. Too pale means undercooked. Too dark means the oil temperature has drifted. The fryer circulates 20,000 liters of oil through continuous filtration, replacing spent oil with fresh every 4 hours to maintain consistent flavor. Oil quality is tested every 30 minutes. Peroxide values above the threshold mean the entire fryer volume gets drained and replaced immediately. A single production line consumes nearly 3,000 liters of palm oil. Per Dalton Y, the factory operates 12 lines simultaneously. Fried blocks enter a cooling tunnel where high-velocity cold air drops their temperature from 150 degrees to room temperature in under 90 seconds. The finished noodle block is a marvel of food engineering, shelf-stable for 8 months without refrigeration, ready to eat in 3 minutes. Vision systems photograph every block at 40 frames per second, catching cracks, uneven frying, and color defects invisible to the naked eye. Every 15th block is pulled for destructive testing, snapped in half to verify even frying throughout and correct moisture content below 3%. Moisture below 3% is the critical threshold. Anything higher and bacterial growth can develop during the 8-month shelf life. While noodles fry on one side of the factory, an entirely separate operation creates what many consider the real star: the seasoning. Up to 30 different ingredients go into a single seasoning blend, from dehydrated vegetables and spice powders to MSG and flavor-enhancing nucleotides. MSG provides the base umami hit while nucleotides multiply that flavor signal tenfold. It is the synergy that makes ramen seasoning addictive. Japan alone produces over 200,000 tons of MSG annually, most of it destined for the instant noodle industry. Each seasoning recipe is a closely guarded trade secret. Some formulas haven't changed since the 1960s. Ribbon blenders mix for exactly 12 minutes, ensuring every packet tastes identical, whether it is the first or the 10 millionth. Seasoning profiles are calibrated to regional taste: soy and seafood for Asian markets, beef and chicken for Western ones. Premium varieties include a separate liquid seasoning, concentrated broth cooked for hours, then packaged in small, oil-proof sachets. Form fill seal machines produce seasoning success at 300 per minute, each one heat-sealed and nitrogen-flushed to lock in freshness. A single premium ramen pack can contain up to 3 separate sachets: powder, oil, and dried garnish, each manufactured on dedicated lines. Garnish packets contain real freeze, dried vegetables, corn, seaweed, carrot, and egg flakes that rehydrate alongside the noodles. Every garnish packet weighs exactly 4 grams. Vibratory feeders sort and portion with accuracy that human hands can't match at this speed. 5 different garnish ingredients are stored in climate-controlled bins, each one freeze-dried separately to maintain its individual rehydration rate. Now the 3 components come together: noodle block, seasoning, and garnish packets converging on the assembly line at dizzying speed. Robotic arms place sachets on top of each noodle block with millimeter precision. A misplaced packet jams the wrapping machine downstream. Flow wrappers seal each pack in printed film at 40 packs per SE-cond, material designed to block moisture and oxygen for months. Each sealed pack is immediately checked by optical sensors, verifying the seal is complete and the wrapper artwork is properly aligned. High-speed checkweigers verify every pack within 1/10 of a gram. Underweight packs get blasted off the line by precision air jets. X-ray scanners image through the sealed wrapper, verifying sachet count, noodle block integrity, and the absence of foreign objects in a single scan. Metal detectors scan every pack for fragments as small as 1 millimeter. A broken blade tip or bolt shard would trigger an entire line shutdown. The quality lab runs over 200 tests per SHIFT, from oil peroxide levels to seasoning salt concentration to package seal integrity. Professional tasters evaluate cooked samples every 30 minutes, checking noodle texture, broth flavor, and seasoning balance against the master recipe profile. Cup noodle varieties follow a parallel production path. The noodle block is placed into a foam or paper cup before seasoning is added. Cup lines run even faster than packet lines. The rigid container eliminates the finicky flow wrapping step entirely. Sealed packs funnel into case packers that load 24 units into each shipping carton, building pallets of product faster than forklifts can move them. Date codes printed on every carton trace back to the exact production line, shift, and minute the noodles were fried. Case erectors build 50 shipping cartons per in ute from flat blanks, feeding the packaging line faster than the products arrive. Palletizing robots stack 120 cartons into shipping-ready pallets every 8 minutes. That is nearly 3,000 individual packs per Pascalet. The finished goods warehouse holds 5 days of production at full capacity. That is 500 million packs stacked floor to ceiling. Warehouse management systems track every pallet by GPS location, directing forklifts to the exact rack position for loading within 30 seconds. 30 trucks load simultaneously at the distribution dock, each one carrying enough ramen to feed a small city for a week. The factory operates its own fleet of 200 trucks, delivering direct to distribution centers within a 500-kilometer radius. From this single facility, instant ramen ships to 65 countries, reaching store shelves within 48 hours of production in domestic markets. China alone consumes 40 billion packs per year, more than the next 5 countries combined. Export shipments receive country-specific labeling, ingredient lists translated into local languages, and formatted to meet each nation's food safety regulations. Halal certification alone requires separate production, runs with dedicated fryer oil, a logistical challenge that unlocks 2 billion potential consumers. A single 40-foot shipping container holds over 40,000 packs, and this factory fills 300 containers per week for international markets. Behind the production floor, a team of 50 food scientists works on what comes next, developing new flavors that can capture the next billion-pack market. A new flavor takes 18 months from concept to shelf, most of that time perfecting the dehydrated seasoning. Tasting panels evaluate up to 40 prototype flavors per week. Fewer than 1 in 20 will survive to consumer testing. Noodle texture R&D runs parallel to flavor development. Engineers constantly refine flour blends, can-sui ratios, and frying parameters. The largest manufacturers offer over 500 distinct products, from classic chicken to regional specialties like laksa, tom yum, and tonkotsu. Packaging design matters as much as flavor. In crowded supermarket aisles, the wrapper has less than 2 seconds to catch a shopper's eye. A typical supermarket stocks over 40 instant ramen varieties, the most competitive 3-meter shelf space in the entire grocery store. Premium wrappers use 7-color printing with metallic foil accents. The packaging alone costs more than the ingredients inside basic varieties. Every market has different visual expectations. Bold red and yellow for Asia, clean minimalist design for premium Western positioning. Premium product lines run at half the speed of standard lines. The additional seasoning components and quality checks demand more time per unit. A premium pack contains 5 separate components, each one manufactured, tested, and portioned on its own dedicated production line. Premium ramen retails for $5 to $8 per Pascal CK compared to 25 cents for basic varieties. Yet both come from the same factory. Every 72 hours, each production line shuts down for a 4-hour deep clean. Fryers are drained, filters replaced, and every surface sanitized. Fryer cleaning alone consumes 12,000 liters of fresh water per line, but prevents flavor contamination between production runs. Spent frying oil doesn't go to waste. The factory converts 3,000 liters per Dalton Y into biodiesel that powers its delivery fleet. Steam generation alone consumes 40 tons of natural gas per Dalton Y, feeding the cooking tunnels that partially cook every noodle before frying. The factory's energy bill runs over $2 million per month, powering fryers, steamers, refrigeration, and lighting across a facility the size of 30 football fields. The factory draws enough electricity to power 15,000 homes, supplied through its own dedicated substation from the national grid. Modern ramen factories are self-contained industrial cities, with their own water treatment, power substations, and on-site flour mills. On-site water treatment recycles 80% of production water, returning clean water to the mixing and cleaning processes. Waste heat from the fryers preheats incoming water, recovering energy that would otherwise vent straight into the atmosphere. The global instant noodle industry generates over $50 billion in annual revenue, and it is still growing at 4% per year. The factory runs 24 hours a day, 363 days per year, shutting down only for the 2 deepest maintenance days annually. 3 shifts of 600 workers each keep the lines running around the clock. 1,800 people dedicated to one product. New workers train for 3 weeks before touching the production line, learning everything from food safety protocols to emergency shutdown procedures. Senior operators can diagnose a production problem by sound alone. A change in fryer rhythm or roller vibration tells them exactly what needs attention. Even the factory cafeteria serves their own product. Workers taste test every new batch alongside their lunch, from flour silo to sealed pack in under 90 minutes. A journey through 8 major processing stages that happens 100 million times per Dalton Y. Raw wheat flour worth pennies becomes a finished product sold on every continent. The most democratic meal in human history. 3 minutes to become a hot meal. The same time it takes the factory to produce another 42,000 packs, 120 billion servings per year. Every 3 seconds, another 250,000 packs roll off production lines worldwide. If this journey fascinated you, subscribe and hit the bell. Next, we're heading inside the factory where ocean seaweed becomes crispy snacks for millions.